Hi there, this is Paul. I'm a mid-stakes grinder at Ongame doing a video for PokerCoop introducing myself. This video is intended to do two things. First off, get you in touch with Ongame, specifically the PokerIdol layout. And secondly, to advertise coaching. If you like this video, you might be interested in getting coached by me. Alright, what you can see here is a short video of me playing 1table NL400. I recorded this and I'm going to talk about the spots as they come up. Alright, very first hand, going not readless into this, I'll talk about the HUD in a second. As you can see, there's no HUD up here, which is not because I play without a HUD. It's because of the recent on-game update that your HUD will not run with the software unless you take the option to force the HUD on top, like top layer in Windows. And since I did that, Camtasia did not record the HUD, so kind of unfortunate. But we don't want to focus on random numbers. I'm just going to give you the reads right now. You see the player right behind me on life tilt, pretty decent regular, loose-ish pre-flop, very aggressive. 3 bets a bunch, check raises some flops, decent player. Right behind him we have the button right now, Poker Felts. You can see by his stack size he's a pretty bad fish. Don't know how he plays yet. Well, find out. Right after him there's no toe on field. He's a regular at 2-4, not one of the best. He does limp sometimes. I think he's playing very passively, doesn't 3-bet a lot, or doesn't c-bet a lot, that kind of player. He's not like super bad, he's just a bit too passive in my opinion. And then to my right you have this player called Strike. He's similarly to no ton field, but he's even worse. He's like more passive, looser pre-flop, like calls out of position a lot, which I don't like. Yeah, I would say a Strike is a bad regular, and this no toe guy, he's alright. He's like not that bad. Okay, so pick up ace king in the big blind. That's already gonna be kinda interesting. Button makes it 2.5, and the small blind, not playing a full stack here, just 3/4 of a stack, makes it 38. Oh, you can see the pop-up, right? That's funny. You can't see the HUD, but you can see the pop-up. So I tried to check what his 3-bet numbers are. As you can see, 3 bets from the small blind 5%, and kind of 3 bets less on the button than he does out of position, which is a little bit weird. So he makes it 36, and because of his low 3-bet numbers, I'm not super happy about stacking off here, but the correct play is pretty much just 4-bet here. Sizing, he made it 36, so you can go anywhere from 70 to 90, I think. But I want to make it a size that he does not call with 100% of his hands, but I also don't want to make it so much that I fold out all worse hands. And I want to make it look like a bluff. Like if I make it 110 here, I'm like never bluffing, so that wouldn't be that good. So very interesting. He calls. We have to make a read on his range here in this position. What does he 3-bet as a tight 3-better and then call a 4-bet out of position, cold 4-bet out of position? I think his range is pretty much medium to high pocket pairs, ace king, ace queen, and maybe sometimes a hand like king queen suited, jack 10 suited that he decided to 3-bet and then call the 4-bet. So when this flop comes down, I do flop 2 overs, not gut shot. So not a terrible hand. Since there's just slightly more than pot left, jamming all in here is not super terrible, but I think it doesn't make any sense against what we decided his range is. If he has a pocket pair, it's like 9s, 10s, jacks, queens, we're crushed by those. If he has ace, queen, king, queen, we're crushed. If he has ace, king, we might fold him off the chop. If he has ace, jack suited, well, we're ahead, but that's kind of the only hand we're ahead of, so betting doesn't really make any sense. Yeah, he didn't check it, but he does check to us, and then I don't think it makes any sense to bet here. So if you pull out Poker Stove and want to see if pushing here is plus EV because you think he folds maybe 15% of the time, and when he calls we have whatever 35% equity. You'll see that it's profitable push, but this means that only that pushing would be better than folding our hand. It does not mean that pushing is better than checking back and realizing our equity that way. So this hand goes on very interestingly. We turn a king, gives us top pair, but this top pair is pretty much worthless. Again, his range is like pocket eights or better, and then ace jack, ace queen, ace king, maybe king queen suited, maybe jack 10 suited, and again there's almost no hand we're ahead of except for I guess ace queen is what we beat, or if he has like a awfully played 9-8 suited, maybe we beat that, but there's pretty much no value in betting here. It doesn't make any sense to bet, so we just check it back. River brings an 8, and I think if he bets here we pretty much just have to snap fold it. There's no way he has a bluff, and we don't beat any value hand. He could even have aces, I guess. So he checks the river, and I guess we could consider making a very thin value bet here if he has like ace 10 or ace 9 or something, but I think it's just too thin. He's gonna have some two pairs like king queen that just check the river, maybe even checks the river with ace jack like a super nuts, because he thinks we're betting lighter than we're calling, which is possible. But I mean, even though his check takes up most of the straights out of his range, he can still have a set and stuff, so I just think we have to check back here and hope he has, I don't know, queen 7 or what he actually did have, ace queen, which is one of the very few hands we do beat, and that was played kind of standardly by him. Calling there pre-flop is not great, but it's alright, he was suited. Okay, next hand, open ace 3. This one's also kind of interesting. So on left it calls from the big blind, 3x open, that's my standard from the small blind. He calls. I think he does this with a very wide range. Any two cards, 8 or higher, he's going to be calling. Like queen 9 off, he's going to be calling. He's going to be calling any pair, and he suit connector, obviously. So his range is very wide here. On the flop, c-bet or not, I think it's a c-bet. Over card, he's sometimes going to fold. Backdoor flush draw, whatever. I think we can't check call, and our hand has some value, so we want to c-bet it. And now he raises very quickly to which is just about a min raise, not much bigger than a min raise. So quick raise to this size, in my opinion, is never a set. If he has like pocket eights here, he's gonna think about it a little bit longer, and then he might also size it a little bit bigger. I also don't think it's like a marginal draw if he has like I don't know, 5 high flush draw, 5-3 of clubs or something. I don't think he makes a small raise here that quickly. I think he thinks about it. Do I call? Do I raise? And if he does raise, maybe he chooses a bigger sizing. I don't know. Anyway, I think his range in this spot to raise is a lot of hands like 9x, maybe 8x if he's trying to eke out very thin value. Then some hands like gut shots like the 10-6 or the queen 10. These types of hands. Maybe he's raising even a 4, kind of trying to fold me or turn his hand into a 5-outed bluff if I call. So I could obviously just fold here. I do get pretty good odds to call though, because I'm frequently ahead against like gut shots like a 6-5 or yeah, all these types of hands. There's a lot of gut shots on this board. But mostly I think what I decided to do is to re-raise him here and try to make him fold his 6-5, 7-5, 10-6, all these kind of hands. I think if I make a small re-raise, he has to fold them, and more importantly, if he does call, which he does, I do have a lot of turn cards that can continue on. Like if he decides to call the flop with his 7-5 or a queen 10, I can then, if a 2 or a 5 comes in on the turn or an ace comes, I can obviously bet. Or if a heart comes in, I can bet with a lot of equity. So I think I like my flop re-raise there. Now he does call very quickly, which looks a bit like a draw. Could be a 9. I don't think he has like 2 pair or set here very often. I mean, combinatorically not very often, and the way he played it, like not very often. So in total, like almost never. So the turn comes the jack offsuit, no backdoor draw. and no backdoor flush draw. And I don't think we can bluff bet here again. The jack connects very well with his range. He could have turned a straight with queen 10. He could have turned a straight with 10-7. If he has a 9, he has something to go with it. He's not folding a 9. He's not folding an 8. He might fold if he has like a 5-4 hand, or if he has a 7-5, 7-6 might fold, but I don't think he folds it. Yeah, if he has some of the lower gut shots, he might fold, but then he could also have jack 10. Maybe he could have a flush draw that hit the jack, or a flush draw that has a 10, now a gut shot, flush draw that has a queen, now has a gut shot, obviously always calls. So I think I just have to give up on this very turn card. I check the turn, he checks behind, we river a 3, which completes the flush, so this is a little bit interesting. I could jam all in here trying to represent the flush, but it's very incredible. I mean, which flush draw would I c-bet? Most of them, but then re-raise the flop small and then check the turn. If I had a 10 or a queen or a jack with my flush draw, I'd bet the turn. If I have ace high flush draw, I'd probably bet the turn. I could have like an 8x flush draw that checks the turn, trying to check call, because the 8 is like good enough to check call. But it really looks like a random bluff if I jam the river, so I don't think that makes any sense. Question if I check and he bets, could I raise it or call it? And basically, I don't think I can. It's just kind of, I have a pair, but there's almost no showdown value to it. So I just kind of like check folding, can't bluff, can't do anything about it. So he showed up with a queen jack turn top pair and did not bet the turn, did not bet the river, which is a bit interesting. But whatever. As you could see, I was ahead on the flop, which kind of means I was value 3-betting. But that doesn't really matter because we're never getting to showdown unimproved. I never win a showdown with ace high there against his queen jack. I don't think that happens. So having the